So, yes, buying groceries today is like giving birth to a beautiful child, only the reward is much less, or in my case, passing kidney stones. Not fun. Holy moly, is that not the truth today? But they're going to tell you inflation is just very, very minor. It doesn't exist because they don't count in shrinkflation. They manipulate the numbers. No, your government would never do that for you. They are righteous and honest. What am I talking about? Well, welcome to SBG News and Views. My name is Louis Herms with my co-host coming up, Robert Imbraeli, and it is a busy, busy day. So we're going to get right to it. I'm going to probably not talk very much, which I know is thumbs up for that in chat. Anyways, please remember your oath. Go to rememberyouroath.com and you will know how easy it is for you to jump in and help just by purely supporting us. Just by throwing your email in there, you're saying, I support Remember Your Oath. I want to hold our sheriffs and civil servants accountable. We support them and we hold them accountable. If they're doing their job correctly, well, good. We're going to give them a thumbs up. And we actually have a program that we're putting together to help with that. So without further ado, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all the yada, yada, yadas that go along with that. Let me bring on my lovely co-host, Robert Imbraeli.
So good to see you today, Louis. How you been?
Man, I'm better than ever, and I am so, so excited about today's show. I almost said program. Program, we're programming you. But
we're deprogramming you. It's a deprogram
yeah,
is
we're
what this is.
Yeah. But this is epic. This will be one of our top 5, I'm sure. We have 2 amazing, incredible guests coming on today, but the content will blow you away. We're very excited. We have a very full plate. So let's just get right to it, my brother.
How much more can we say about what's coming? Because I'm going to tell you, this is a record-breaking day. We'll talk about that record at the end of the show after you've seen everything that we've got for you today.
Yep. I agree.
Cool.
Let's start with a simple image that may just tell all. It says, if genitals don't define gender, how does removing them affirm it? That is just a beautiful, beautiful picture. And it's so common sense. And that's what we really need to focus on. And the way you're going to have conversations with the normies is you're going to use common sense, because common sense is very uncommon. So try not to blast their favorite people or anything like that. Just throw a little common sense at them. That's a great question to ask, by the way. To say, so if genitals don't define your gender, can you tell me, please, how is removing them affirming it? That's a beautiful question. What you say, brother?
I love it. I saw that popped up in my social media about a week ago or so, and I was looking at that, and I was like, common sense. It's like we need to get back to common sense. What happened to common sense? It's not taught in schools anymore. So it ends up, I'm going to take this off because I keep slamming it on the desk and it's making all this noise. We don't teach it in schools anymore. So kids come up and they learn the indoctrination, but they don't learn how to process and how to ask questions about what they're being taught. Being fed the thing, feed it to them, they memorize it, and the test comes along and they have to repeat it back. You've passed. You get an A. You're great at memorizing. When you leave high school, you can't go to an ATM. You can't fill your car up with gas, but that's okay. You memorize the propaganda. And that's all that matters, right?
Exactly right. Yep. Because we're creating robots.
Yep.
And that's, when I say we, I should say the deep state, not we, but the deep state is creating robots, and that's what they need. So they spend your preschool now all the way through the upper echelons of college, completely forming and transforming your mind so you believe what you've been told and memorized is actually the truth. Now you only have to do this: repeat what we say, repeat what we say, repeat what we say, in threes, of course. So it's total witchcraft, but that's a whole nother level.
Well, so it starts in the womb. It starts in the womb, the indoctrination,
yeah, Holy moly.
Joe Biden, he's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Honey, don't say that in front of our baby.
Right. Stop Stop talking that demon talk.
I know your kids are not indoctrinated. I know that about you.
Well, actually, I would say a couple of them are, but it was outside of happening in college, and we're going to get them back one day.
We'll get them back. Yeah.
But yeah, most of them, the ones you met, are definitely not indoctrinated.
Yeah, no question. No question.
So let's start with this. Let's go over this lovely China visit, right? Because it's very interesting the way this plays out, and we're kind of tell a story the way we put this together, and which is fun today. So you showed yesterday, we played a game like, where's the American flag, right?
Yep.
We found it. We absolutely found it. Do you have that image?
I don't know if I have that image. Do I have the image? Oh, yeah, I do have that image. You're right. I do have that one. Hang on here. Let me just change my screen. We did find the American flag. There was one. Further down the street, though, not where that video was taken.
Right.
Yep.
But still, even further down the street, what do you see on screen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of Chinese flags and one American flag. Oh, isn't that special? By the way, folks, you would look at that and you go, is that in China? Nope, sorry. That's in the streets of San Francisco. By the way, notice how clean those streets are? Well, if you've been to San Francisco in the last 10 years, that would alone seem very, very weird. I've been there with my wife, and I can tell you, what we saw on the streets? Gum, cigarettes, tons of hypodermic needles, used condoms, a lot of dirt and mud and grossness. That's honestly what we saw on the streets. And we went into supposedly the best areas. Oh, it was bad, really bad. So bad that I know liberals that have exited out of there due to the fact that it was so bad. So what happens, of course, Newsom and Pelosi, they cleaned up the streets for a visit with Xi Jinping. Now, what I don't understand, am I wrong, or did Joe Biden go to San Francisco to meet Xi?
No, you're right. He went to San Francisco to meet him.
So you mean the top dignitary, probably the second most powerful or third most powerful person in the world, didn't go to the White House? Am I hearing that right?
You are hearing that right, and there are a lot of people questioning that. And they didn't actually meet where APEC was meeting. They met at another place, another house, another mansion away from it, 20 miles away or something like that. And they didn't meet with the rest of them, which was really odd.
Isn't it interesting? Yes. So let's play when faux Biden actually meets Xi Jinping out of the car. But I want you to listen in the background, and you're going to hear what sounds like commands to either the color guard or the guy shutting or opening the car door. Very interesting. So watch this. He detained a 50-year-old man from Moore Park and searched his home, but he was then released. Sheriff's offices said investigators received conflicting information from witnesses on both sides about what took place, impairing witness credibility and making it difficult to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt, although they did arrest him. The Jewish Federation of Greater Los Angeles said in a statement that it was grateful for the work of sheriff's investigators. The Federation said. What'd you say, Robert?
But they have video. Everyone was taking video. I mean, it's like, we don't know really what happened, but we're going to arrest them just in case. Is the sheriff's office kind of taking sides maybe here, you think?
Yeah, or the guy, and he called 911. Maybe he said, I pushed him, he fell. You know what I mean? I don't know the details. It seems very murky, though.
Yeah.
And of course, the Federation jumps all over it, and praising it right away instead of just waiting to see what happens. And that's the sad state of where we're at with this. It doesn't matter if you're from supporting the Israelis or supporting the Palestinians. And they jump so quickly in for propaganda purposes. And isn't that what we really want to get away from in this world? That religious division, the right versus left division, the red and blue, it's all black and white Masonic BS. I just don't know why people can't figure that out yet. And it seems like if you look at it, there's almost wholesale in the so-called truther community. They're just jumping on the Israel bandwagon. I'm like, yeah. Maybe a lot deeper here.
That's a testament to how well it works, though, the indoctrination. It's just, and it's like you said, it's from birth or even before birth in a lot of cases, and it's there. And now you grow up and you're an adult and you don't have that muscle of analyzing things developed. So that's a flabby muscle that's never getting used. And then you're confronted with all this stuff, and people are busy. They got dogs to feed, kids to take care of. They got a job. They got to pay the mortgage. A car is broken. They've got 50 million things going on in their day. When it comes to the news, they can get the headlines and they don't have time to dig into it. So I kind of give them a little bit of a pass, but not a lot of a pass, because the truth of the matter is, this is so important. I was one of those people, right? It was so busy. I had so much going on. The news, I would catch a little bit, and so be it, until things shifted in 2020. Then it was, okay, now it's no longer an option. Now it's an absolute. Because everyone started to come to me, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? That was my work. I always told people what to expect, what's coming, what are the trends, right? That's what people came to me for. One of the things anyway. And now we're in that space where you can't do headline news anymore, because the headlines are so disingenuous and mostly often lies, and you can't look at the reporters as experts. Now, Lewis and I are very clear. What we don't do is pick up stories and start to talk about stories where we don't have a lot of expertise, right? Or we haven't done the research, or we haven't dug into it, because then we'd appear like a bunch of buffoons. So there's stories that come up, and I look at them and I go, I can't make heads or tails of that, especially things on Zero Hedge, some of the really deep financial stuff that would confuse me. Well, I'm not going to be able to explain it in any way that's not going to confuse anybody else. There's no point in sharing that story. Although it may be important, there's another side of it maybe that we can bring forward. And it's important for all of us to be aware of that. It's like, I know you don't have time, but you still, at this point in our history, we need to be paying attention to what's going on, because we won't change it if we're ignoring it. Rant over.
No, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. So, what it appears to is, regardless of what's going on, the propaganda right now seems to be destroying the Democratic Party, which is very interesting, because right now the Republicans.
So glad you're saying this. We're on such the same page. Excellent. Go.
So the Republicans are rarely in lockstep. Now, I may not agree with them for their support of this war and what they're doing right now. They are in lockstep right now, but the Democrats are being destroyed at the seams over this. They don't know, is it Israel? Is it Palestine? They don't know which way to go. And they're waffling because they're trying to follow the crowd and follow the trends. And it's really crazy. So we're going to show two videos in sequence here, but I'll describe it as it's a pro-Palestine protesters, and they clash with Capitol Police outside DNC headquarters in D.C.
Okay, say that clearly. Outside DNC headquarters.
DNC headquarters.
Can you believe that? DNC, they're clashing against their own. This is brilliant. Beauty. I love this.
Yes, the Democratic National Committee. Now, let me also preface, because this is a pro-Palestine protesting for a ceasefire. Be clear, this is not a pro-Hamas protest, and this is the way the news media wants to spin these things all the time. These are pro-Hamas. No, they aren't. They clearly, if you read their shirts, you know what they're protesting. Yep. So these demonstrators, they caused an evacuation of lawmakers from the DNC and a lockdown of the U.S. House office buildings that surround it also. So let's play. Protesters aren't in front of the RNC. They're in front of the DNC. We're in a wacky world right now.
I can't make heads or tails out of it the way I'd like to. But what I'm seeing is that the Democrat plan is backfiring on them. When their own people are coming after them. This is brilliant. I mean, I could, now it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, is there a plan behind that to cause them to react in this way?
Yeah,
it's really interesting, because it's like, now the wacky world that we're living in just got wackier, right? It's just crazy.
Oh yeah. And I'm with you on this. It is really, really, really weird. Now, if it's all real, and by the way, if you watched it, it seems like there's some play acting going on there, but that's what we're seeing with a lot of the stuff. Assuming it was real, I do think maybe it is that the people that are protesting are feeling betrayed by their comrades. I say that on purpose in the Democratic Party. What do you think?
Well, they're yelling for a ceasefire. Let's walk this through a little bit. So they're yelling for a ceasefire. So they're pro-Palestinian people. I get that. I'm on board with that idea.
Oh, you want to call it truthers, anons, diggers, whatever you want to call it. They seem to be putting the pieces together really, really quick, and then you're having actual outside groups start to take action. Let's put my rose-colored glasses on. I think this bodes well for our future, because it's we, the people, stepping up and saying, okay, we're not going to take it, or we're going to look at this and we're not going to believe the narrative anymore. I think it's a big deal.
Yep. It is a big deal, especially if they're getting tribunals. They've already got 300 lawyers lined up that are going to partake in this. It's like, you don't get 300 lawyers to line up for anything unless they're sure they've got enough, proof that something bad has happened.
Yeah, what amazes me too is that they're taking this stance, because this is not the stance you would normally see. So this is against Israel, right? In essence, that's a pretty dangerous stance to take.
Yeah.
And think about how it came about. One person had to call a person, which got a hold of another person, so on and so forth. To keep that under wraps and not be infiltrated by the deep state and start taking these guys down, it's pretty powerful, and that's just one country.
The deep state's got their hands full. How much can they handle?
They do, and the deep state is falling. So we're going to bring on our special guest here in just a moment, talk about deep state. She is the nemesis to the deep state. So we're going to bring on beautiful Lezley Shepard, and she's from the communist Maricopa County that's run by dictators and the Board of Supervisors. But before we go into that, I'd like to bring up an image real quick of the BOS. I call him POS. Now, notice real quick, the guy on the right, by the way, that's the devil. That's Clint Hickman. But if you notice on the tables there in front of him, gee, those are water bottles. Probably not a big deal. Why? Of course they have water bottles. Everybody should be allowed to drink water, right? Makes sense. Well, Lezley has been a thorn in their side from the beginning, because she has been pointing out an absolute fireball in there, a warrior. But recently, if I can articulate this a little bit, we'll go into Lezley. Clint Hickman got his Board of Supervisors to agree to make a rule change and get rid of water bottles for who? The participants in the audience. That's odd, isn't it? We'll ask her why exactly they would do that. But then they become so restrictive on it that it's actually, I believe, affecting the health of some people. And let's show two warriors that are being restricting on Lezley, an actual a warrior that is, if everybody did this in their county, we'd already win, just so you know. So let's bring Lezley on right now. And Lezley, give us an idea what the heck is going on in Maricopa County.
Major corruption. I loved how you introduced it, a communist country, Arizona. It's absolutely is. There's no shame at all involved. What they're trying to do is deter us from even showing up. So they make it more complicated. There's audible policies that they've been changing along. Even the slips, you have to have them turned in by a certain time. And if you don't, guess what? You don't get to speak. Even though it's completely against their policy, they're trying to do whatever it takes to get us from showing up. And the great part is it's regular, we the people that are showing up to assemble and say what they need to be, that needs to be said, and they're being punished for it.
And would you say their goal is just to make sure they have an empty auditorium when they have these meetings?
I think that would be the best way to sum it up. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I get. So give us an idea, though, is how did this whole water thing come about? And I believe you said before, this is the only county.
It is the only county. I called every single county. I was curious. At first, it started for different reasons. So I was trying to see how much time other places got. And then when I started laying out to see that all of them were set up all but one other county, was set up so that people can actually call in their comments from home. They don't even have to come in. The other ones let you speak right off the bat after the pledge and the prayer. So many things were blaring, and one thing that was consistent across the board, not one county restricts the people from taking out a bottle of water. After all, we do live in Arizona. So, yeah.
Wow. And what's their justification for this?
Well, it took several phone calls down to the headquarters. I talked to their different people, and I've got it on recording, where one of the ladies finally, as I go up the ladder to find out, she actually said it was for health reasons. And I said, why is that? And she said, because in the past, somebody had been threatened for their life. And I said, with the water bottle? And they said, no. Why can we not have the water bottles? And she explained at that point, well, they're afraid you're going to throw them at them. And I said, well, actually, if you want to get technical, according to your hostility, we're concerned that you're going to throw yours at us. So what's your reason? You know, we've got frail people that walk up there. I said, this is control. And then they said, sorry, ma'am, this is just a rule. And I pushed it. And even Clint Hickman responds to one of my emails and says, if your friend that you're concerned about is having a problem, she's free to watch it from home. Now he knows that we're pushing to get a webinar in there so that people, and they do have a webinar. It's odd. They have a webinar. There's once in a while that we get to see people, especially the Board of Supervisors. It's often that they don't actually come to the actual meeting. They'll do it via webinar, and they're allowed to do it. But for we the people, that's not the case. Sometimes for agenda items, people are allowed to so they can feel like they listen to the people, or maybe the people that they line up that help their little New World Order agenda sound like it's a good thing to pass. But when it comes to the public comments, in which they make us go absolutely last, like hours into the meeting, we're sitting there, no water. Oh, unless you want to go to the lobby and you want to drink from there, or take one of their little pea cups and go to the fountain, if the fountain works. So.
Right. So you have to drink water from their fountain, which of course you can't trust, in a small paper cup, or you can go out and go drink from miss the meeting and go drink from your unmanned and unprotected water bottle.
Absolutely.
Right. It's interesting, and all for their safety. Yeah. Right. Now, just amazes me. It's absolutely incredible. And it's obvious that it has zero to do with their safety. This is purely about restrictions, right?
Absolutely. Control. Because, it's all about control.
Yeah. I mean, there's anything that you can throw at them from your purse that would do a lot more damage than a water bottle. And then they rub it in your face by having their water bottles prominently displayed on their desk in front of them.
Yes. And then to have the gentleman that usually sits right behind the podium and he drinks through a big chunk of people. We've got so many action shots. We created a board, because I wasn't sure if I was going to get trespassed on Wednesday, because I broke the golden rules and snuck in a water bottle for the third time and had the nerve to drink it in front of them like I was equal to them. So we created a board. So it was going to be ready. So if they were going to trespass me, I was going to be outside showing it to people, giving them information, passing stuff out. But it turned out I got to go in. It's making a difference, though. The guards don't like it. They don't like it. I don't blame them. It was awkward the time that I went in doing the video, showing them, because at this point I had to push it, because we did have, I think, at least 13 people lined up to go back to back to back. Because we have a common law case that was filed on 8/18 in the common law court, and it's doing very well. It's the one that we subpoenaed them regarding their oaths, in which none of them produced. So
Now, I want people to hear what you said, because I preach this all the time. You had 13 people lined up to go back to back to back to back. I'm assuming with the same conversation. Is that right?
Yes. It was the court filing that happened on the 18th. We want them to know exactly what we knew they were violating the law over.
Right. Which is extraordinarily important. And I've been following you, and I would have to say all the ladies, because I don't see many gentlemen stepping up in Maricopa County. You guys have been doing
we have a few.
That's good. Come on, guys, get involved. But you've been doing a phenomenal job. And me tracking this from the day that I spoke in front of the Board of Supervisors to today.
Yes.
I think they're running scared. And you guys are making a huge difference, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Can you talk about things that you think are a win, even though I know they're small here and so on and so forth, but I see some progress.
Yeah, I would say like even just as simple as even having the cup sitting up front, believe it or not, that was a victory because they were telling us we had to go down there and get them. I said, the least you can do is have the cups up here. Hey, we'll take a win at any point to let them know that we push back. When you have guards coming up to you and saying, keep it up, it's making a difference. You know, that means a lot. One of the gentlemen that retired, phenomenal man. He's so kind. When you give him your papers, different people will act like you're a violation to them, but he's just been so kind. They actually honored him this past Wednesday, and he deserved to be honored. But, it's so funny how the other thing that stands out to me just victory-wise is we take these thumbs up and thumbs down. And because they said we can't clap, we can't show them, we can't say anything. Blah. So we actually do the thumbs up, thumbs down. So that's a victory because they approached me and said, you're not going to be able to do that. And I said, there's nothing dangerous about these signs. It only says signs that would harm you. I said, your attitude is not one of the things we care about if it harms you.
Yeah.
So
now I've listened to a lot of the times you speak, almost every time they have a board of supervisors public meeting, you're speaking, which I think is phenomenal. You're right in their face. You're not taking their crap, and you put them in their place, and always let them know that they work for us.
That's right.
We the people don't put up with this, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, isn't all or most of the board of supervisors Republicans? By the way,
there's 4 Republicans and 1 Democrat. I see 1 uniparty is all it is.
Exactly right. And this is what I want people to get out of this, right? Stop voting for the R just because they're right next to the name.
That's right.
Elections are won and lost in the primaries.
Yes.
They're not won and lost in the general election. They never are, because the deep state already has their guys positioned from the primary forward. So if a deep state, they get their rhino in against the Democrat, they literally turn a blind eye and they don't even focus on that election. They don't finance it. They don't fund it. It won't matter anymore because they will get one of their people in there. We have to know the division is on purpose. So they get you aligned with the Republican Party. But if you just look at Congress, it's all rhinos.
Yes,
it is
absolutely.
It is a uniparty. And I'm so thankful that you said that now, and until we understand it's a uniparty, it's going to really be hard to defeat them. Robert, do you have any questions for Lezley before we let her go?
I'm like really excited to hear what she's doing, and I was just posted in the chat that this is like the perfect example, people. If you're looking for an example of what can be done, right? It's not that difficult to do. Nothing she's doing takes a PhD in rocket science to figure out. It's just a matter of showing up and getting in their faces. And it's working when they're playing the tit for tat game, right? Oh, you can't bring your water bottles in because you might throw them at us. Well, maybe if you were doing the right thing, that we wouldn't be threatened that way. You know what I mean? It's like, hello, common sense here. So you look at it from that perspective and you say, okay, so they're cowering is what they're doing. And they're playing these little childish games, literally the games you'd expect in first grade, second grade, right? That kind of thing. And they're playing these games because they're afraid. They're afraid of who? They're afraid of us.
They're extremely symbolic, I feel, of what's going on with the deep state right now.
Yep.
They are just scratching and screaming because they know their time is coming.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that if anyone's seeing this, oh, she's threatening them. No, their time is coming. It's coming. This common law case, to let you know, there was even a brigadier general that called one of the gentlemen that's on this writ for common law case that's exposing them. They were blown away. They said, we've never seen anyone write these in so many years because people don't use the Constitution, which is the law of the land.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's definitely making an impact, and they know it because these things that I'm talking to them in their face about, behind the scenes, they know that this is happening. They know it. They just don't like that I'm saying it in front of other people to let other people know that it's happening. Because we are the news. When we assemble like that, we're the news. And we have wonderful patriots that consistently come down there and they read a script, do it in 20-inch font, nice and big, and just let them read it. Because even if it's the first time they've read it, they're learning it and anyone else hearing it is learning it.
Yep.
And that's just priceless, because we are the news.
Yep. It's absolutely beautiful. And in fact, guys, if you don't think common law is real, just go ahead and read the Bill of Rights. That's all you have to do. Read the Bill of Rights. And like I've said from the beginning, where Arizona goes, the rest of the country will follow. This is the epicenter of the deep state, and will be the epicenter of change also. So I think you guys should really focus on Maricopa County, because it is the eye of the storm for sure. Now, you don't know, Leslie's been trying to show off her shirt in the background. Leslie, they don't see you unless you're talking. Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Anyway, she is always wearing the Screw Big Gov shirt. We really appreciate it. Leslie, thank you for everything you do. You're a wonderful patriot, and you are absolutely a beacon of light on how we should do things to take our country back. Thank you so much.
thank you guys so much for what you're doing. I'm very honored. Thank you for what you're doing. Keep it up, gentlemen.
Thank you, Lezley. We really appreciate
everybody.
it. Yes, you are a great example that people should be able to look to and be motivated by. So God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Wow.
Powerful stuff, right?
Yeah, well, we're looking for people who are stepping up, warriors in action. She is definitely one, and it's a great model to follow. Maricopa County is sort of the hub of corruption. That, and I think we got Michigan, we got Pennsylvania, we've got a couple of other places. But man, Maricopa County, every time there's an election, there are problems there. What do you think about that? You know what I mean? If we don't push back there. And I think, Louis, you're right about this. He said if we fix Maricopa County, that'll ripple out and that'll start fixing the other ones.
Exactly. Because when you have the eye of corruption, right, you can show them that it could be fixed, and then people feel a lot more hope too. So, guys, pay attention to Maricopa County, pay attention to Lezley and all the warriors out there. I'm actually working with some other people in the background in Arizona coming up that are going to be a big part of this too. Lezley doesn't even know about that. So I'm going to do everything I can to support. Anytime there's warriors in action, we will be there to support them if we possibly can. So, okay, let's move on. Do you have your special guest in here yet, or do you want to talk about something going on in Oregon that's very interesting?
I think we'll go to Oregon first. All
right. So, folks, in Oregon, law students now don't need to take the bar. Now let's look at this image for a second. It's very, very interesting, right? If you notice, this is justice is blind. That's what it's supposed to indicate. I just don't know a couple things. Does it seem like maybe the Eye of Horus is on her outfit? And does it also seem like she's very scantily clad? Justice is blind. Very, very interesting to me. They play these games with us. And what exactly is that in the middle of her chest hanging from her? So, by the way, you can find that all over the place. So it's not like I had to hunt to find that picture. So let's get into this, though. So in Oregon, and this is according to Reuters, but we looked into this, and it is true, law graduates will be able to become licensed in Oregon, get this, without taking the bar exam, starting in May of 2024. This is big. This is big news here. I'm surprised it's happening in Oregon and some other places, but this is big. So the Oregon Supreme Court on Tuesday approved an alternate licensing program that bar exam reformers hope will spur further innovations in other states. Again, this is how common law is going to be moving away from bar, which is the British accredited registry, just so you know, and getting into where we need to get. So after law school, candidates will spend 675 hours working under the supervision of an experienced attorney and create a portfolio of legal work that bar officials will grade as an alternative to the traditional bar exam. The only problem I have with this is it says that the bar officials will grade it. Well, at least they don't have to take the exam and become part of the bar. So that's a good step. The program, called the Supervised Practice Portfolio Examination, will be open to graduates of both in-state and out-of-state law schools, a departure from the two existing alternative licensing programs in the country. Now, Wisconsin already allows graduates of the state 2 law schools to become licensed without passing the bar in what is known as a diploma privilege. And in New Hampshire, they allow a small cohort of law students who complete a specialized curriculum to bypass the bar. So we're working in the right direction. Not fast enough for me, but it seems like we're going though. So those seeking to become licensed in Oregon will still have the option to take the bar exam, and the State Bar of California is considering a similar alternative attorney licensing pathway. So the question here is, they're going in the right direction, but the bar still seems to be involved in most cases. Well, do we have good guys maybe that are infiltrating the bar and infiltrating the board of directors on the bar? Let's hope so, because it's definitely going in the right direction. Robert?
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. It'll be interesting to see, 675 hours of basically being an apprentice is significant. I don't know if it's everything, but it certainly is significant. It might make up for the bar exam. They're studying for the bar. They got to pass that bar. But again, that's memorizing, right? That's not so much analytical work. And I think they'd be more analytical if they're in the field. So I kind of like the idea. I think they're in the right direction with it.
Here's what's interesting, though. I have traditionally over my life worked 70, 80 hours a week, right?
Yep.
That would equate to just 10 weeks of work if somebody's really powering through it.
Yep.
Pretty incredible.
Yep. Good enough, though.
Yeah,
Good enough.
I think it's very interesting.
There's a guy in a lime shirt loving his pets, apparently.
Who the heck is that?
I don't know who that is. Come in. Guy in lime shirt. Come in, please. Come in.
Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Are you on Mars?
I was just going to say.
I am at I'm an undisclosed location. We're doing a event for Pet Club, a little small event for this evening. But there was something came across my desk today that I wanted to share. I thought it was kind of important. Checked it out. A friend of mine, Maria, sent me a video last night or early this morning of a clip from an interview that was on Frank's Speech TV with Brandon House. And what it ultimately is there's like 5 of these whistleblowers from the Department of Homeland Security. And what they got going on, there's a public comment period going on currently for a new rule change, or they're looking to get public comment for this rule for unaccompanied children program, a foundational rule. And what essentially it is, in a Reader's Digest version, if you can look it up, they've been on a couple of different shows. They did a pretty long interview and explaining the entire situation that they're going through, their whistleblower stuff. Some have been fired and other things, but they know they're exposing the fact that Department of Homeland Security and Mayorkas, being the head of that, is complicit in operation on the entire planet.
Wow, Bruce. You know what? I was going to have questions and comments, but you articulated it so freaking well. I have nothing to say, guys. He encapsulated what this does, and I think it's very important to pay attention. We can all be boots on the ground, even from our couch now. And, of course, that's what we're trying to create. And remember your oath, but this is huge what they're doing. Brother, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention.
Hey, yeah, no problem. I mean, this is, every little thing that we can do is going to help to make a difference. And, this is one thing that it's super simple to do. Go to a website, follow the instructions, submit as many comments as you want. You can submit them anonymously. You don't have to put your name and information on there. So we've flooded them out. We've had these opportunities before, and seemingly dropped the ball. With the Brunson letter writing campaign, we didn't have the millions that we thought we were gonna. But every time we put information out there, that's all we can do is share the information. Then it's up to we the people to take the action.
Yep. Absolutely. Robert, do you have anything for Bruce before he takes off?
Bruce, I think we should cover this on tomorrow's show if you have the impetus to do that.
Yeah, we'll dig into a little bit more. I had, spent a couple hours today, looking into it, and I got these people information. I'm going to reach out to see if I can get an interview with them as well.
Absolutely. See if we can get them on the show.
It is, we have 18 days, before the public comment period ends. So, this is some of the nefarious crap that our government does, and people need to know, hey, you can make a difference. You can make a comment. And, that's what we need to do. Start doing this stuff, and we'll make a difference. One way or another, we're taking them down.
That's exactly right. The deep state is falling. It's nice to be part of it.
Yep. Wow. Bruce, thank you so much.
Thank you, my bald buddy.
Thank you. You guys have a great night.
We'll see you tomorrow on the show.
Wow, that was awesome.
Friday it is, yeah. It's just sort of impossible to wrap your head around it in a way that they're going to codify that into law so that they can continue their crimes. Now it's part of the rules. It's mind-boggling, but they're going to push and push and push, and if we don't ever have that line in the sand and say no more, they're just going to keep going. Why would they stop? How much can they get away with? Your children will do that. They'll keep pushing until you say no.
Yeah, well, he nailed it. You know what I mean? And it was interesting because when he's like a dog with a bone, when he goes on to something in the story, he's not going to let go, and that was really awesome to see him bring that on here, and it's appreciated because it's all about the kids. It's always been about the kids, and anything that we can do to help makes a big difference. So, guys, the website was posted in chat. If you're not watching it live, well,
TruthTrench.org.
Rewind to that spot and hit it again, and say it again.
TruthTrench.org.
TruthTrench.org.
Trench. Yeah, I'm not going to say that one 3 times fast. Sorry. Okay, now let's get our head around this. We saw them protesting at the DNC headquarters, all the Democrats, right? To give you a visual of it, it's an insane number. I mean, it's a crazy number to think about. If you looked around and saw that many children and no response, no reaction, they're just gone. We lost track of them. They went into the channels where they were sold.
It actually compounds on that. It's actually millions and millions and millions.
Right.
And
85,000 is an old number. It's been bannered around now for 3 years.
Right. Right. And it's millions because it's $1 trillion industry. Yeah. So that number is even extraordinarily low and suppressed because it's like VAERS. That's what they figured out, that this 85,000.
Right.
But it's probably 20 times that, just like the VAERS reporting is, because there's also a deep state mechanism that prevents the reporting from going public as well. It's a sick thing. In fact, I even said this, speaking of Maricopa County that we talked about earlier, is Maricopa County was not about keeping President Trump out of office. That was a bonus. It was about organization intact. And when we figure that out, hopefully we're going to make a difference.
Well, you can tell they're all circling the wagons, Republican, Democrat. They're all on the same team. They're playing the same team. So the money's coming from, it's coming from what's coming across the border. If you were truly a person in Arizona, cared about Arizona, that border would be locked up tighter than a drum.
Yep.
It wouldn't be wide open the way it is. They wouldn't be welcoming it. I mean, just look at the videos we've shown from Yuma and how many illegals are being welcomed, and DHS, the Border Patrol, is just removing the fences, and just letting them come through, making it easy for them. Well, actually, that was in Texas, but the same idea is happening in Yuma.
I have many people on the border that I'm in contact with, and it's happening in Arizona every day.
Yeah, every day, right?
Every day, and the Border Patrol is just letting them go through. In fact, if you're trying to stop it or be near the border on the American
side, you get arrested.
You get in trouble.
Yep.
So we're way behind schedule. So let's pop through these really, really quick here.
Well, we talked about VAERS, and now we're going to talk about Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, and let's just play the video. I think it's interesting. Matt Gaetz is at it again.
Yep.
A reasonable person watching this hearing might wonder why this is a field hearing being chaired by Congresswoman Green rather than a hearing held by the House or the Senate with one of our standing committees. And I believe that reason is because far too many members of those committees obtain those committee seats because they are bought and paid for by Big Pharma. And if you go look at the people who lead these positions in the House and Senate, and you line up the money they get from Big Pharma lobbyists and Big Pharma PACs, it is pretty easy to see why we are here. So I believe that we are just at the beginning of following up on these 60 oversight requests sent by Senator Johnson. And that is what our committees ought to be doing. They should be going line by line through the requests that Senator Johnson and others have laid out, and we should be answering those questions. And it's deeply frustrating, although I'm very grateful to Congresswoman Green for leading this, it is indicative of how high the hill is for us to climb to get the truth out.
So there you go. Just as we reported yesterday, they were in some form of an ancillary room that was given to them.
Out
right?
in the field.
They call it the field, right?
Yep.
Because they could not be part of Congress.
Yep.
Guys, we're for you. Oh, yeah. When they throw you into a break room with salmon tablecloths and let you go at it. It is gross. It's disgusting, but it's another reveal for us, guys. And this is why you need to stay positive. Over and over and over, we have these reveals.
They stuck them in the Motel 6 or Motel 8 or whatever that name is, that hotel, with the salmon-colored things. And you saw there was no media there. I mean, that was one camera, the same angle the whole time. They're just doing this. It's like, there's no media there. No one's filming that. No one's paying attention to it. And he said it right. He said, they're paid off. And it's true. I mean, we saw that with CNN. We see that with Fox News. Brought to you by Pfizer. Brought to you by Pfizer. What do you think? I mean, it's not a mystery here that they don't want any bad news coming out about their product, right?
Yep, I agree.
And they certainly don't want any legislation, any government agencies involved with it. These guys are taking a risk doing this, and thank God we have somebody stepping up and doing it, because we're amplifying it a little bit here, and I hope more people will amplify that message because it needs to get out. More people need to know. This is the world's greatest scam. Certainly, there are no words for it. It's just over the top, crazy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Switching gears, speaking of politics, I guess one of the coven, as I say,
coven.
Nikki Haley was interviewed, and she's talking about senior benefits. Let's listen to this genius.
Are you on board with cutting entitlements in a big and meaningful way?
Social Security goes bankrupt in 10 years. Medicare goes bankrupt in 8. Anyone that says they're not going to take on entitlement reform means they're going to go in and be president and leave the country bankrupt. You can't do that. Yes, we have to do entitlement reform, but that doesn't mean you touch anyone that's in the system. We should keep our promises. America should always keep her promises. But for everybody coming into the system, like my kids in their 20s, you change it. You say we're going to raise the retirement age to reflect life expectancy. We're no longer going to do cost of living increases. We're going to do increases based on inflation.
All right, this is fun. I love these short clips because I'm going to destroy her argument in less than a minute, right?
Right.
So first, it's so obvious that this was just teed up for her. She was so ready for this question. Whoa, here I go, right?
Well, she gave them the questions ahead of time. She faxed them in.
Absolutely. They reviewed it. They said, okay, at minute 2.47, this is when they're going to ask you this question. Yep. This is witchcraft at its best. This is political spin, and this is what it is, okay? So let's think about this. She said they're going to adjust the entitlements, right, based on life expectancy. So therefore, she says that's going to push them out farther, but it won't affect anybody in the system now. Okay, here's why that's total BS. For the first time in history, lately, guys, the last couple of years, I believe it is, maybe 3, life expectancy in the United States is dropping, not increasing people. So it's dropping. Therefore, if she used her so-called equal barometer to adjust it, they would go bankrupt quicker, which means she's a freaking idiot, or she's doing political spin witchcraft, which I think she's doing. Secondly, she says adjust it based on inflation. Okay, now, you don't want to bankrupt the system, but inflation's going through the roof, where cost of living is, 2.5, 3% on average? So let's adjust it by 20% inflation, no problem. Great. Now we bankrupt you in 2 years. It's just ridiculous political spin, and it's total witchcraft. And what happens is because she's so passionate about it, people buy it. Oh, Nikki has a great idea. And you're devil worshiping, it's not working here.
Yeah, it's what you want to hear. If you just take the message at face value, it's what you want to hear. It makes sense. It's logical, right? It's all the rest of that. But promises made are not promises kept, two different things. And by the way, on Bannon's show this morning, he had an economist on. I think it was Dave Bratt that was on. And he was talking about if you take government spending out of the GDP, you know what the number is? -8. We're contracting as an economy. So
destroy every argument. I would love to debate these people, but they never would put me on stage with them. It's just crazy.
Okay, now
so
look
folks,
at the bigger picture here, Lewis, right? So what happened with DeSantis? Crashed and burned. Who's the next darling? Who's the next choice? She is. Why is she popping up in the media left, right, and center? We've had clips on the last 3 shows. We had clips about her. That's why. She's popping up more and more now. Because now they're building her up because she's going to be the replacement for Trump. They're expecting to take him off the ballot, and she'll be the next one that they'll put in.
Well, you know, they have something in common, though. Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, they both wear high heels.
They do. They really do.
That's good. That's good to know. So, folks, rememberyouroath.com is very close to our heart. It's somewhere that you can make a huge difference. Just go to the website and check it out. All you have to do is just throw your email in and say, I support what you're doing. That's it. So rememberyouroath.com. Sheriffs and civil servants, we support you and hold you accountable. Guys, we just got the new shirts in and the sweatshirts. You can buy them at cost. This is not a money-making deal for us, but we need to get the word out as much as possible. So if you want to support this, go to rememberyouroath.com, buy them at cost. Now, in addition to that, I have some announcements, so pay attention. We need RYO volunteers. Remember Your Oath volunteers. All right? So we need people to read and submit copy for us when we're putting things on the website. We need somebody in charge of monitoring the app. By the way, the app's right around the corner. I've made a couple of new changes to it for security reasons. Those should be done in the next day or two, and the app should be released next week. I know I've been saying that forever. I shouldn't do dates, but guys, it's because we need this to be as safe as possible because we understand that it's going to be a major target to come after us. So we need to protect ourselves and keep the app running. So we need somebody to be in charge of monitoring the app. We have a Telegram channel that's just for the insiders of the app, have conversations on that, communicate with changes that are needed on that. And we need, most importantly right now, I want 1 or 2 people to step up and find a way to grab all the sheriff's email addresses in the United States, because we have a really cool campaign that we're going to be running and going after them. So guys, we need that. So just go. I don't know if you, Robert, can we check? Can we even leave a comment on Remember Your Oath? If not, I will give them an ancillary email right now.
We can go check, couldn't we?
To contact us. Yeah. You can bring that up. So folks, we're right around the corner to dialing that website in and making a huge difference. We're very excited about it, and people seem to get very passionate about this. So we're super happy. So do you see anything on there that where they can leave a comment?
There's the join. There's a little white box that says join Remember Your Oath. Just put in your email.
Okay.
And I'm going down. Order your gear, mega action.
Okay, so it doesn't appear there is yet.
No.
That's okay. So guys, I'm going to give you a special email address. If you could also put this in chat, it's screwbiggov@protonmail.com. Screwbiggov@protonmail.com. So if you want to help gathering the email addresses, be part of contacting the sheriffs, be an RYO volunteer, read and submit copy, or help with monitoring the app, conversations, changing things on the app. We need it all, guys. This is time. We're building an army right now, and you're going to be a big part of this. All righty. So I love shifting gears. I can tell you that I'm going to go over it real quick. This is Neumi. This is NutraSwish, guys. Amazing product. the best glutathione on the planet in my observation, and we've got the testimonials are through the roof. We're running out of time, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but they have a face spray. I'm 127, and I think I only look 90, so I think it's working out pretty well. And then the other one that I just dropped on the floor is Herms, and it's a product by Neumi that the women are loving. And if you know what I mean, the men are going to like it too. And then in reference to that, that's if it's not on your screen, it'll be in chat, but go to brucepoppy.neumi.com. See how we take care of our brethren here? So Bruce Poppy came on the show. Go to brucepoppy.neumi.com. And in addition to that, guys, at the debauchery that's intentionally going on in the country, and you can find that on Rumble, and you can find it on YouTube, and you can find it on BitChute. Now, just so you know, I do sell product on there for sbgpets.com, but the first half hour has zero to do with selling products. You guys will love the information. It will absolutely blow you away. But the food is amazing. My pets are getting phenomenal results. Go to sbgpets.com for that. And since I see her in the back office, I never asked Lezley one question. Where can everybody find you? You have such phenomenal information. If you can pop on for a second, Lezley, and remind us of that, I really appreciate it.
You can find...
She froze.
She froze just as we wanted her in here. Oh, no.
The deep state gotcha.
Oh, no.
That's right. When she comes back on, we'll ask her. I know she has a great Telegram channel that we'll be able to mention, and we'll see if there's something else also.
Okay.
Arizona First.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
You can find it on Telegram at Arizona First, and on Twitter, I'm Constituent AZ.
Arizona First on Telegram and Constituent AZ
on Twitter. Yeah.
Formerly known as, now X.
Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you,
Thank
Lezley.
you.
Appreciate you. All right. So, again, we're doing things in order here, which are really, really cool. So we've got Steve Bannon is talking a little about Christopher Wray, and then we're going to go right into, without any commentary, Representative Clay Higgins is calling out Christopher Wray on Ghostbusters. Oh, I cracked myself up. Ghostbuses. All right, there were 2 buses, he believes, that were filled with FBI agents. They're called ghost buses that were right there to activate on January 6th.
Oh, there it is.
More evidence that the FBI is not your friend. People ask me all the time, Lewis, why do you call out the FBI? They were at your house. They've tried to intimidate your employees. They've taken pictures of you, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, because I'm just trying to tell the truth. All we care about is telling the truth. The idea that they want to intimidate me, I'm sure, and hope we go away. We're going to do exactly the opposite. The second they left my house that one time, I was on Telegram immediately and let everybody know. Because you have to stand up and fight back and not be intimidated. That doesn't mean I don't think there's good people in the rank and file in the FBI. I actually think at least one of the 2 FBI agents that were in my backyard may have been a good guy, actually. Not sure. Definitely following orders, though. So the point is, guys, we have to call this evil out. And it's namely the 3-letter agencies. And they're all 3-letter agencies, which is ironic, isn't it? Wonder if that has something to do with their weird spell casting mechanism. So anyways, we thought it's important to let you know it's the FBI, in my opinion, and many others, that instigated this whole. And what follows that, and it may not correlate to you, is all of that. And it's just because of the frustration that people. No excuse, obviously. I'm just trying to give you the markers of what to look for. But how indoctrinated or horrible of a person are you if you're going to be called to a prayer meeting and what your instinct is let's steal from this old lady that is not only at the prayer meeting praying for you because you requested her to pray from you. Folks, the deep state has created this. This is intentional. And they want people to work on what they call satanic principles. They don't even know that that's what they're doing. So we have to be the best we can be to counteract this type of craziness.
I just don't have any words, Lewis. It's those kind of people. It's crazy. But
that The Rock is a bad dude, and I have to be honest with you. I was kind of indoctrinated at one time. I liked the guy. I'm like, oh, I see what he's doing. Good. He says all the right things. Blah blah blah. But it's just the way they position these characters. They did the same thing with Matthew McConaughey, right? They position him as somebody that may be on your side. When again, this is the evil that's out there, and I really just think they should just rename Hollywood Pedowood, because it's just one of the most disgusting, gross organizations on earth.
Two things, Lewis, that come up here. Number one, no surprise they're picking an actor, right, to play the role of president. Mm-hmm. And what kind of polling would show him at 50%? You know what I mean? It's like, when he said that, it's like he could say that with a straight face. Come on. It's like, you know what it is? In marketing, we know this. In PR, I did a press release years ago in the 90s, and they said, here's the report everyone was waiting for, right? Nobody was waiting for it. But I used that line, and things sold like crazy. So it's like, well, 50% of them are voting. I got to jump on board too, right? Even though that number doesn't exist anywhere. There's no poll. There's no 50%. It's a number they threw at him. And now he's biting it up, and he's like, wow, 50% people love me. Wow, maybe I should do this.
Yeah, it's manipulative marketing.
Boy, is it ever. Yeah.
So, but, you know, if for some reason we don't win this war anytime soon and it goes on for a couple of years, by the way, guys, I'm not saying it is. I don't think it is. I'm just saying I would imagine the next thing you're going to know is he's going to play the role as a actor turned president.
My God. Go. See ya.
You know how great this country would be if all these weirdos that said if President Trump was in office, they actually did leave. They're just liars.
Yep.
They're all liars.
Yep.
But they would all be in other countries, you know, and they would go to, you know, other communist countries like Canada.
I quote,
or Australia.
Biden is so smart. He can't find his way off the stage, but he's so smart.
Well, he is pretty intelligent. Okay. Not. It's just, they're a bunch of weirdos. It's fun to watch, though. It's fun to watch. Now, I want to show a touching moment, since, you know, these people are all talking about president. Let's show a real president. And I want you to listen right about, I think, the